Hey everybody, on Factor This, I'm joined by Kat Burnham of Advanced Energy United, an advocacy group for the clean energy folks who are really upset right now about what's going on in the offshore wind industry. If you've been reading up on this, it seems like it's nothing but torrents of bad news for those trying to develop clean energy projects off the shores of the United States. Kat is here to talk a little bit about what's going on, in particular in her own backyard with a project called Revolution Wind that you may have heard about. But let's start with a quick intro. Kat, tell us about how you see these problems from your perspective and what you do at your organization.
Great. Thanks, Paul. Really glad to be here. I am with Advanced Energy United. We are a national trade association representing a range of clean energy technologies and service providers as well as buyers. I'm based in Rhode Island, and so definitely feeling this issue both personally and professionally. And you're right, we are absolutely frustrated that this brings uncertainty not just to New England and to the offshore wind industry, but to the energy industry more broadly, and has implications for our workforce as well as consumers. So there's a lot of ripple effects that make us very concerned about this stop work order.
The Trump administration's disdain for wind energy is long-standing. There have been a lot of quotes over the years, not just recently, about how he thinks they're ugly, he thinks they're trash, he thinks that they don't serve the purpose that they set out to. For those who haven't been following this on a day-to-day basis like you and I have, Kat, can you, for our listeners and our readers, sort of level set a bit for us? Where do we stand right now on offshore wind in the United States in September 2025 in Trump 2.0?
Yeah, I think it's good to add the date in there
Mm-hmm.
because this is an ever evolving issue. So, from day one, Trump has had it out for the clean energy industry. There was the executive order pausing leasing for federal lands and offshore areas for offshore wind. Then, with HR1, the big beautiful bill, we saw tax credits being removed and sunset. We're also seeing additional scrutiny and other hurdles that projects need to handle. And then again, more recently, we're seeing the stop construction orders or pauses on key projects. And this is happening across the country. But most recently, of course, here in Rhode Island, we're seeing the stop construction order affecting Revolution Wind, which was 85% completed and set to serve consumers in Connecticut and Rhode Island just next year. So there's been a long track record of relentless pressure on the offshore wind industry, and we're seeing that this is going to be an opportunity for states to step up to make sure that we don't lose the progress that we've made on this industry.
This isn't the first time this year that the Trump administration has tried to put a wrench into the progress of a big wind project. Empire Wind back in April,
Hmm.
that was only lifted after some concessions for fossil fuel infrastructure. Can you explain a little bit about one, why that stop order was attempted to be put into place for Empire Wind, and how it was taken off, and if this serves as a path for Revolution Wind to begin or to resume progress?
Yeah, when I think about the New York experience, that project came about with frustrations from the Trump administration regarding, again, how they look, how they appear. It's all cultural arguments. It has nothing to do with how productive wind turbines actually are or how effective they can be in terms of supporting reliability. And what I think about is Governor Hochul stepped up and was able to negotiate continuation of that project. And that's what I hope other governors take away. We really need industry and stakeholders and policy leaders to come together to step up and advocate for these projects because there's been a lot of time, investment, and effort put into these good projects. And these are good jobs. These are good energy resources that are local and domestic. And so, absolutely necessary to take that as a lesson learned, I think, for other states.
There's a lot of economic uncertainty that comes hand in hand with this start and stop nature of go ahead and do this. No, wait, hold on. Okay, now there's economic uncertainty. Now there's tariff uncertainty. Can you talk a little bit, Kat, about the uncertainty as it pertains to Revolution Wind and what putting a pause on that project potentially takes off the table, not just for those with jobs on the project, but for ratepayers too?
Yeah, no, that's a really important question. And this order came about on Friday of just last week after years and years of development, planning, and construction. So The process for Revolution Wind actually started a decade ago when two federal auction leases were acquired by Deepwater Wind, which was then later acquired by Ørsted. More recently, there was a 5 years long consultation process with states, municipalities, coastal towns, and federal agencies like the US Navy and the Coast Guard, the Army Corps of Engineers. There was an extensive review process for safety with the Pentagon and the FAA. And so this was a multi-year comprehensive evaluation to ensure that the project was safe, that it was considerate both to local communities as well as the environment, and then also ensuring that it could fulfill the energy requirements that were expected of it. And so after all of that process, here we are in 2025. We're on the eighth inning of the game, and we're about to bring it home. And so this was, intended to be 704 megawatts, 65 turbines. This would bring power to hundreds of thousands of homes, both to Connecticut and Rhode Island. And here in New England, we're in a bit of an energy affordability crisis, and it doesn't have to be this way. Offshore wind in particular is especially abundant at production during winter periods. And in the winter here in New England, that's when we're overly reliant on natural gas, both for our electricity usage as well as our heating. And so in the last winter, we saw wholesale prices for energy go up, and folks saw the impact of that on their utility bills. And so there's a lot of frustrations in households across New England, in particular in the southern New England area, because of natural gas prices. And offshore wind was going to be an opportunity to add some stability and control over future costs. And so what was important about this project is it was a 20-year price lock. And so unlike gas, which is very volatile with its pricing, there isn't a fuel cost to wind. And so it's predictable, it's dependable, and again, it's local, which was crucial for our reliability of our power system. In New England, we're importing a lot of power from other regions, and so finally we have a resource in our backyard, and the rug is getting pulled out from us at the last minute.
The ratepayers too, and not just now. I live out in New Jersey, and I've seen my electricity bills go up quite a bit in just the last year, and I saw it coming, unfortunately, following along with the PJM power auctions. It's like seeing the train and being tied to the tracks and having nowhere to go.
Right.
Does this ever get better for ratepayers, Kat? We talk about the PJM problems and demand going up with data centers and AI, and now potentially gigawatts of stranded offshore wind. Where's the light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah, I think with smart planning, there is hope. We know ISO New England, much like PJM, is looking at capacity market prices and looking ahead. What are the resources that we have in our kit? And so again, I think it's very risky to rely on any single commodity. And right now in New England, we're so reliant on a volatile resource, natural gas, again, both for our heating and our electricity. And so diversifying our resource mix, that's a healthy energy diet that will help us manage our costs and make bills more affordable for consumers. So ISO New England, they released a market report earlier this year. There was a 67% increase in energy prices in New England between 2024 and 2025. And that alone was attributed to a 112% rise in natural gas prices. And so as we add more resources to our system, and also as we make our system more effective and efficient and flexible, that will again help us manage those future costs. The status quo, you're right, if we don't do anything, and also if we undermine these projects that we've invested in to help us shore up different resource types, that's a recipe for higher bills down the line. So we need to plan against that.
I know you represent at Advanced Energy United, Ørsted, and some other clean energy developers. How are they taking all of this uncertainty, particularly the foreign ones who came to the United States to put these billions of dollars of steel into the ground, who are now not only dealing with the uncertainty, but the potential of tariffs and the potential of cost uncertainty when the price of steel goes up by 30%?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely a headache. Ørsted is stepping up and speaking out, as are other industry leaders. But absolutely, like any industry should be concerned. You can't do business if all of a sudden permits that were approved and plans that were approved were, at the last minute rescinded. it makes it very difficult to do business here. And every hour that you're not doing construction, that's an added cost. These delays are very expensive. And also, we have been training up a local workforce. These are skilled folks who are building these resources. And if they're not able to work on these projects, they will go elsewhere. And so this has huge implications for any industry. Or anyone who wants to invest in the US. We've heard that we want to invest in local energy and we want to see more US manufacturing and more business growth. This is this uncertainty absolutely will make it difficult for anyone to feel confident about putting their dollars into our economy. And so absolutely we need regulatory certainty, and we also need to make sure we follow through on projects that we've made commitments on.
Put a bow on this, Kat. Where should we be looking now? What's the next domino to fall here? Is there another wind project that might be in peril? Should we be looking to Rhode Island's governor or legislators to try to negotiate a restart? What's next?
Yeah, it's hard to know in this moment of uncertainty, but
By the
really,
time this publishes, it might have changed.
but honestly, the drum I keep beating is we really need the states to step up. And to their credit, the governors of Rhode Island, Governor McKee of Rhode Island, and Lamont, Governor Lamont of Connecticut, have spoken out. And we've also seen great leadership from Governor Healy of Massachusetts, and also Governor Hochul of New York. And again, governors across the country, as well as their energy offices and their attorneys general, really need to speak with a unified voice with the support of the energy industry as well as other affected stakeholders. Consumer advocates should be concerned, labor advocates should be concerned, anybody who has to pay a utility bill or is concerned about inflation affecting their pocketbook. This is an opportunity for us to step up and speak out. Elections matter, obviously, but in the meantime, really important for states to make it clear and predictable for how to site and permit and build projects, and to ensure that we're able to have reliable sources of power. And so what I see as, the next step for this moment is really ensuring that our state leaders lead. We need to make sure they feel supported in this moment and strong in this moment. And we cannot rely on the federal administration to save us, so to speak, from this affordability crisis again. So this is why, especially in a small region like New England, we need to work together on this.
Kat Burnham of Advanced Energy United, I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day to talk about this important issue. Thank you so much.
Thanks for your time. Glad to be here.